Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. We're talking about Deep Space Nine and this episode that revolves around Sisko. Now, there's a subplot here where Keiko comes back with Molly and O'Brien is doing his best to move from his habits without her to being back with her, and that included the regular holodeck and dart games with Dr. Bashir. The two have become quite buddies, and now that Keiko is back, he feels that it's necessary for him to be home, and he's not quite sure what to do with it all. It's not that the marriage has any problems with it. It is just that his routine has been upset, and it has an effect not only on him but on Keiko as well. And the main story, with Sisko questioning whether he really is the emissary. This is something that was kind of thrust upon him, and even in the Bajoran scriptures, the emissary is not necessarily someone who is willing to take on that role. And yet Sisko has bristled at it for a number of good reasons. One is that it's hard for a human being to see oneself as a deity. It is also difficult with someone who is a Starfleet officer who is sworn to not interfere in the affairs of other planets, to find himself an integral part of one. And this is something that he's been warned by Starfleet not to get too much into. And so there's a big conflict with him in that he does like the Bajoran people. He likes the planet. He's very happy to be there defending them, but at the same time, very uncomfortable with this role that has been put upon him. So at the beginning of this episode, when another Bajoran comes out of the wormhole in a centuries-old ship and claims to be the emissary himself and has all of the believable evidence that, in fact, that was. The way he spoke to the prophets, it's obvious that they communicated with him just as they did with Sisko. It is very obvious that he was to the near death and was healed of his wounds and sent through. Although because of the fact that the prophets don't understand the concept of linear time, that where he was in the wormhole for only a few minutes, he crossed over some 200 years later. So this gives him a lot of credibility, and Sisko is willing to pass along the title to him. And however, some of his ideas are rather old-fashioned, 200 years out of date, really. And this bothers Sisko. And why should it? Because he was so happy to get rid of the title of emissary. And so the whole show is kind of a study on Sisko as where his loyalties really are. And I don't think that he knows fully just how invested in the Bajoran people that he is. And I think by the end of this episode, he does realize that. And I like the way that it was handled because and we knew at the outset that this guy wasn't really the emissary, but we would have expected it to be some kind of plot by Kai Wynn or one of the other adversaries that they have to Starfleet's presence there. And so the way that this actually happened and the way that they explained it out was different and refreshing. And so I think this is an incredibly well-written episode because they've never really touched this territory before. They've kind of glossed over it when Sisko is, asked Kira, you really think that I'm the emissary? And she says, well, yes. And so in this one, they go full speed into it and take on just exactly who and what Cisco is and the importance to it. So that's what this one's about. I have to say that it was an emotional ending of joy, and I think that it says something about Avery Brooks' acting, that he can make you angry, he can make you weepy, he can do all of this in a role that is so circumscribed by decades of canon. And yet they found a way of writing a story differently, and my hat is off to them. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Please put it in the comments below. And if you have not subscribed, I would ask you to do so. That would be very kind of you to do, and we'll appreciate very much. Now, tomorrow we have a video for you about Doctor Who. We know that new Doctor Who episodes are going to start sometime in April, and there have been some things on the internet that have been questionable, and we'll talk about that, and that'll be tomorrow. So I hope that you'll tune in for that. Until then, don't go far.